Are pre-workouts bad for you? Today, I'm going to break down my opinion when it comes to supplements like this and drinks like this as to whether it's something that you should be consuming when it comes to training. Now, what is a pre-workout supplement to start off with? Pre-workout is essentially a supplement that you take before you train to try and improve the performance of that training session. So you have more energy, you can lift better, you have more focus, you can lift bigger weights. That's why we take pre-workouts, to essentially give our body something like a substance so we can actually train more optimally. What do these kind of typically contain? A lot of things. Now, the most prominent ingredient in something like this is going to be caffeine, which is in a performance enhancing ergogenic aid. So it definitely does help. And then other going to be ingredients, things like citrulline mannate. You're going to have things like beta-alanine. Some contain creatine, L-arginine, niacin. These are all kind of quite popular ingredients that you will get in a typical pre-workout supplement, and also something like this as well. So there are potential benefits to some of these ingredients, but often what we actually see is that to get the performance enhancing benefit of that ingredient, most of these pre-workouts per typical serving size don't actually contain enough. Like, for example, we need to be taking 5 grams of creatine per day to see the benefits. A lot of pre-workouts that contain creatine in them don't contain enough, or don't contain that 5 grams for us to get the actual benefit of the pre-workout. So we'd essentially have to start taking more and just taking it on top, which means you could probably just make your own pre-workout without a lot of the shit that they put in here as well. The same with something like beta-alanine. Now, I'm not saying pre-workouts don't work, as a lot of the ingredients can actually help, especially something like caffeine. I'm saying that some of them are a little bit of a rip-off, as they don't even give you the actual performance-enhancing dosage of what they say that they can actually help you do. So that's a little bit around the science. Now, why is it that people actually take pre-workouts? Why have they become so popular and one of the most frequently used supplements? Something that we get all the time from our clients, like, do I need a pre-workout? What type of pre-workout is best? And the reason why I think these become so popular is because of the marketing. They are marketed very well for us to think that we will train better, have more energy, and get more out of our workouts if we take something like this. And that is mostly what supplementation is in these days. The supplement industry is just built off false advertising and false marketing and claims that are never even backed up. But we have to be careful when it comes to making decisions around whether we should be taking pre-workouts. And most people that take pre-workouts are taking them because they're trying to mask that their diet and their nutrition is actually suboptimal. They eat such shit quality foods, they eat poor nutrition, processed crap, and they actually try and get this like false high in terms of energy from smashing loads of caffeine and pre-workout to actually try and have energy and focus to train. Whereas if you just sorted your nutrition out and actually ate the right food and had proper approach of your diet, you probably wouldn't need a pre-workout anyway. And at most, could probably get away with just having 1 or 2 coffees throughout the morning, maybe 1 before you train, and that would be more than enough to give you energy, which is pretty much what I do. And I'll use maybe like a caffeine pill or something like that to really pick me up if I feel like I need it. Now, I will only ever really use pre-workout like once or twice per week. So I'm not saying I don't use it, because with anything, the devil is in a dose. If you drink too much water, you're going to die. So having pre-workout supplement every now and then is not going to be that bad. It's not going to wreak havoc on your digestive system. It's not going to leave your body to getting ingredients that are typically bad for it if you just have it every now and then. It's not going to make a massive effect. So this is why having it in your locker for those big workouts, even if it's more of a placebo effect, which a lot of the pre-workout supplementation is, can help a little bit when it comes. So for me, as an example, like if I'm going to train legs and I'm absolutely hanging out, having a scoop of this or a couple of scoops of this, which would probably set me back about 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is obviously super high, I would probably start to feel like I've got a bit more energy and a bit more of a buzz. However, even when I look at the color of this supplement and what goes in it, I can't imagine that there are some stuff in here that is not great for my body. I mean, the ingredients list in this is absolutely ridiculous. There are like 20 plus ingredients in this pre-workout, and most of them I don't even know what they are. So this is why I'm not a massive fan of having these all the time, and certainly not being super reliant on taking these supplements when it comes to improving your performance. As I said, a couple of times per week, maybe just grabbing a can of C4, which actually tastes really good, in a nice cold brew, can be beneficial sometimes to training, just so I can kind of give myself that slight edge. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to become reliant on pre-workout supplements. And I see this with so many people. They actually have built this real tolerance and this need of having a pre-workout supplement every single time they train. They associate training with a pre-workout and they can't train without it. Now, what this does is it means that our body builds up a tolerance to pre-workout over time, which means for us to actually get the effect of the pre-workout, for us to actually feel it, we have to take more. This means that like having a C4, you probably might not even feel it. You might might need to have 2 C4s. You might need to have 4 scoops of pre-workout to feel the same. It's the same with something like nicotine. We know that when we use nicotine, to start with, like, we feel like very stimulated. Like, I know I do sometimes when I use the spray for my own cognitive function. I feel that over time, if I was to continually keep using nicotine, which I don't, I use it very, very, very infrequently, that I would start to build a tolerance to it. And I know some people that literally just chew on nicotine gums like they're nothing because their body's built this massive tolerance to nicotine where they don't even feel the effect of just throwing nicotine. I know that if I had one piece of nicotine gum, which I can't even handle, I literally start to feel sick, the room starts spinning in circles, and I have this horrible nicotine poisoning effect. So I know my body is completely like non-hooked on nicotine whatsoever, and I have zero tolerance to it at all, which is obviously a good thing. And it's exactly the same with pre-workout supplementation, where we don't build a tolerance up to pre-workout supplements where our body actually relies on having them. Because imagine that you're having to take more than the recommended dosage to get the same effect. Imagine the harmful and potent ingredients that you're putting in your body over time because you're just constantly taking more and more and more and more of a supplement like this. This is not what you want. You don't want to hold any addiction in your body to anything that's taken as a substance, whether this is drugs, alcohol, caffeine, sugar, anything. You don't want to hold addiction to these things. You should be able to function as a human without taking any shit like that. Now, I even remember when I took a pre-workout supplement before. I think it was the ABE supplement, which I've seen a few times. Essentially, I took the supplement and I almost crashed my car when I was driving to the gym because my body had a really bad reaction to the niacin, which basically meant that my body was like flushed. My face had red flush on my face. I was itching. There's so much irritation. I felt awful. And I was on the motorway, literally like scratching my face off, worried about the fact that I was driving and not being able to concentrate on the road. That's how serious the pre-workout supplementation can be, and the amount of shit they actually put inside of it. To think that my body had that reaction when consuming it, I literally looked awful. And when I got to the gym, it was a terrible feeling. So just to summarize, I'm not saying don't have pre-workouts. As I say, I do consume them. I admit I have pre-workouts every now and then. I'm not against them. I enjoy having them. I find they do give me a bit of a push for some of my workouts, but you don't want to become reliant on these things. They are not something that you need to function off every single day to be able to train. If you are in that position at the moment, you are overdoing it and you need to come off these pre-workouts. At least try and bring them down to, like I say, just a couple of sessions per week. If you're eating the correct foods and your nutrition is set up in the correct way, you're consuming carbs at the right time, you're eating good protein, you're eating good quality healthy fats, so you've got a nice sustained energy source, you don't need to rely on shit like this and just put loads of caffeine and shit ingredients in your body to try and train and function properly. So make sure you don't do that. And if you want a good idea in terms of how I would set a nutritional approach up, how you can get shredded in 2024, actually breaking down the nutrition, I'm going to link a video up just here. You click that video, it'll take you straight to it, where I break down exactly what you need to do to get in top class shape this year. So as always, guys, I hope you found this video super useful. Make sure you smash the like button, make sure you subscribe for future fitness content, and I will catch you in the next video.